Right now, the average home in the Columbia County, New York housing market is taking a staggering 24% longer to sell than it would have last year, forcing local sellers to make a massive tactical pivot. If you're tracking the headlines or talking to neighbors out here in the Hudson Valley, you're probably getting conflicting stories. One person tells you that homes are still flying off the shelf, while others have been sitting on the market for months with zero activity. Everyone's got an opinion about the real estate market right now, but a lot of people have outdated information. If you look purely at national news, you're going to misprice your home or pass on a great opportunity because you're waiting for a market crash that simply isn't showing up in our local data. The truth is, our market has become deeply split. Let's look at the actual numbers from May so you can see exactly where the real opportunities and traps are hiding. Let's get started with the big picture. We saw a spring surge in May with 112 new listings hitting the market, which is up 4.7% compared to last year. Buyers responded pretty quickly, pushing pending contracts up 5.2% compared to last May. Now, the median sale price increased to $490,000 in May, which was up from April, but we are still tracking nearly 11% lower than the median sale price of last May. Total closed sales were also down 27% in May and are down 12% year to date. Why? Because there are simply more sellers than buyers right now, which has driven our average days on market up by over 24%. This increase has exposed a massive pricing penalty in the Columbia County, New York housing market. 41% of all homes sold this year had to take a price cut before finding a buyer. If you price your home correctly from day one, you're looking at an average of 68 days to sell. But if you overprice and have to take a reduction, your timeline balloons to an average of 173 days, which is 2.5 times longer. Once a home is positioned right, negotiations are pretty tight. The sale price to list price ratio jumped to 97.2% in May, but getting it right out of the gate is everything. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at how the different price ranges are behaving because we are looking at 3 entirely separate markets right now. First, the core market under $600,000 is where 59% of all year-to-date sales are happening, even though it only holds half of our active listings. This segment is still technically favoring sellers due to strong primary buyer demand, but even here, 41% of listings required a 10% reduction. Next, the middle tier between 600 and 1 million is a highly sensitive transitional market where pricing accuracy is really the toughest. Buyers here are feeling the pinch of inflation and carrying costs and causing listings to sit an average of 139 days. And finally, the luxury market, which is over $1 million, has shifted into a heavy, deep buyer's market. This tier holds 30% of the active inventory, but accounts for only 17% of the sales. We're looking at a 14-month supply of luxury homes in Columbia County. Sellers here are willing to wait longer before lowering prices, but when they do, the correction is much more severe, averaging a 19.2% cut. Now, look at this map right here. So activity in the Columbia County, New York housing market varies wildly from town to town. The blue dots represent sold homes this year, and the orange dots represent pending sales. Notice how the most intense activity dominates the northwestern quadrant of the county. This is running between Hudson, Kinderhook, and Valatia, and over towards Chatham. These micro markets are being driven by primary home buyers rather than second home buyers. Primary buyers are shopping with much more urgency, and they're hyper-focused on things like school districts, commute times, and proximity to amenities. But these buyers are also under intense pressure. While mortgage rates have retreated slightly from recent highs, affordability is an everyday issue. Consumers are reminded of it every time they go and they buy gas or groceries. Because of rising carrying costs like utilities and maintenance and property taxes, and homeowners insurance, buyers are being incredibly cautious these days. They're looking for turnkey conditions and are entirely willing to stay put until they find the exact right home. So how do you win in this environment? Well, if you're a seller, you've got to be realistic about your initial price. Overpricing doesn't just delay your sale, it can disrupt your life, especially if you have to maintain your home in show-ready condition for upwards of 6 months. Or if you've already purchased your next home and now you're carrying 2 mortgages. Presentation and precise pricing are your best levers as a seller. If you're a buyer, you've got real leverage right now, especially the longer a home has been sitting on the market, or if you're shopping in those higher price points. But if you're shopping under $600,000 in those fast-moving towns, you still need to act pretty quickly. Because inventory is limited, you might not find a place that checks every single box, and you want to make sure that you're fully pre-approved for a mortgage, or you have your proof of cash funds ready to pull instantly so you don't miss out when the right property hits the market. Navigating the Columbia County, New York housing market right now takes a hyper-local strategy. To get started, I recommend checking out the resources available on my website, jensesma.com/Columbia County Real Estate Guide. That is a great place to get started. If you want a precise look at your specific home's value, or if you're ready to start planning your home search, you can email me directly at jennifer@beachandbartolo.com, or you can call or text me on my cell phone. My number is listed below. So drop a comment below and let me know, are you seeing more price cuts in your neck of the woods? Let's chat about it, and I'll see you in the next video.